good guys and bad guys, cowboys and Indians, sinners and saints, masters and minions. They're all the same to me. They're all the same to me.
Welcome to Fence Post Politics, the only place for unfiltered, nonsensical, probably fake news that you never asked for. Brought to you by the Burning Daylight Podcast and your host, myself, Matt McKinley, Aaron Ellis, Tim Martin, and Rob Jost. Now let's have a little bit of fun, talk a little politics, and tell a dirty joke or two.
And your college trick magic might have fooled everybody, but you didn't pull nothing on me.
Well, howdy there, daylight burners. Hope the week's treating you all right. Football's back, and that's nice. I had a good weekend betting college football. I typically don't bet college football, but it's just nice to have football back. So, anyways, the other gaylords are off doing gaylord stuff. And yeah, we're gonna run this one solo. Start with we got an update on Mitch McConnell, and he is fine apparently. Doctor gave him a clean bill of health, and his fellow Kentucky Senator Rand Paul, one of my guy I'm a pretty decent fan of. See what he has to say about. He's also what do you call it? He's an eye doctor, but legit knows the medical field. He's been practicing medicine for a while. His dad's also a doctor, so I tend to take what they say when it comes to medical issues with a pretty high degree of confidence. So anyway, here's Senator Rand Paul when he's asked about Mitch McConnell. Here we go.
Episodes. And so can we get your reaction to the explanation that was given for Senator McConnell's episodes and what you believe happened?
I think it's an inadequate explanation to say this is dehydration. Well, I've practiced medicine for 25 years, and it doesn't look like dehydration to me. It looks like a focal neurologic event. That doesn't mean it's incapacitating, doesn't mean he can't serve, but it means that somebody ought to wake up and say, wow, this looks like a seizure, and maybe there's some seizure medication that could be given for this. You know, do we only have 2 episodes, or are we having 1 episode a day that we don't know about because it's not happening in public? Now, it isn't my business to tell anybody else to reveal their medical records, but at the same time, I think if you go halfway and you reveal stuff that doesn't make any sense, it just leads to more questions.
Senator, given what you've seen and your medical background, are you confident in his ability to lead the conference?
I can't make any comment on that other than my personal interaction with him has been fine, and I think he's been up to the task. And so this isn't a criticism of him or anything. It's a criticism of the way it's being handled publicly by giving a diagnosis that everybody thinks is a lot less than what it actually is. So then people automatically think, wow, it's a lot worse than it actually is. But it could be something very treatable. Seizures are treated. Many people in high-functioning jobs have seizures. Many seizures after trauma go away. But there's a lot of things I don't know.
And there you have Senator Rand Paul not buying really the whole shtick about Mitch McConnell. Mitch McConnell just got a little bit of lightheaded and had to retract into my shell. Man, that guy's in bad shape. It sure seems like. But also, yeah, there's also another guy that's There's also another guy that in a high leadership position that doesn't quite seem up to the task. Here's our commander in chief doing commander in chief stuff. He's awarding a Medal of Honor to a 90-year-old Vietnam vet. So, thank you. Like there was supposed to be a whole ceremony, and Uncle Joe's just cruising on out. Just leaves. You can see the chick's face there. Like she's like, and then this poor guy. So he was. I'd have to look and see what he's being awarded the Medal of Honor for, but a pretty important thing, you know. And after he pins it on him, there's supposed to be some more festivities and pomp and circumstance, and Joe ain't having any of it. And then, like, that lady's like, oh, I thought he was supposed to stay. And then this poor fella here, they just leave him standing on the stage by himself like an asshole. And he's like, I guess is what I'm supposed to do here. What a weird fucking world we're living in. You ever like scrolling through Netflix and you're just like, no, seen it, no, not interested, weird, no, and you spend roughly a full sitcom episode just trying to find something to watch, and none of it really seems appetizing. That's how I feel it is voting. You're just like, commie, probably a closeted homosexual masquerading as a like a evangelical Republican that wants to ban all abortions all the time and lock up the women who think about it. Or you've got more likely the case is that just like some crook that's getting paid off by a big company and fucking over his constituents in the meantime. And you're just like, I don't want any of those. Like that they all sound awful. It's just like it's like the Real Housewives of the Washington D.C. old folks home. You know, the people's house has just become or the Senate, I guess, people's house too. But it just like a bunch of geriatric fucks. Does it just smell like Ben Gay in there all the time? Just smells like icy hot and piss bags because I mean they're just a bunch of geriatric fucks in there. In the meanwhile, we've got the FBI out just shooting people left and right. So, where here we go. I found this. They finally, I don't know if it was leaked or if it was released, but this video was taken on the day of that raid. So this goes back to Provo, Utah, and Craig Robertson. He was a 74-year-old man who said some crazy shit. Kind of apparently threatened to assassinate Biden. Whether that was a credible threat or not, I highly doubt it. His Facebook post, according to, he wrote an ominous Facebook post. According to the FBI, I hear Biden is coming to Utah. Digging out my old ghillie suit and cleaning the dust off my M24 sniper rifle. Welcome, Buffoon in Chief. Well, here is a neighbor that recorded this whole thing.
Oh, they have a SWAT team right there. I'm glad we didn't get more names. They can be real.
This is all for a 74-year-old man. Watch this video and then we'll. So there's a SWAT team. Bunch of yelling over a loudspeaker. Flashbang. If you notice, it's still dark outside. Seems a little excessive. Seems a bit excessive. Bunch of yelling still. I don't know if try to turn the video audio up in before I post it on the main feed, but yeah, and then there's some gunfire. Maybe that wasn't gunfire. Anyway, you got a full FBI SWAT team for a 74-year-old man. And like so this guy here. That guy's who they killed. So John Michael Ossola, neighbor who witnessed portions of the raid, said he and his wife were typically getting ready to go to the gym around the time authorities showed up at Robertson's front door Wednesday. We woke up and we started hearing some weird noises and we went around the corner. That's when they started kind of shouting, and there's like a full SWAT team there. After agents identified themselves as law enforcement, Robertson did not cooperate. He started yelling back like, "I haven't broken any federal laws." Sola told Fox News Digital. And that kind of went on for a while until there was a bunch of flashbangs that went off. And then there were a lot of loud bangs, obviously some gunshots. Travis Clark, close friend of Robertson, told Fox News that the slain woodworker was the sole caretaker for a disabled adult son who lived in the home and is blind. Oh, so that's neat. I don't know how good his ears are, but the flashbangs would not have affected his eyesight, apparently. So that's good, I guess. Clark said he was not privy to Robertson's Facebook account and that he learned about the post Wednesday. Pretty shocking stuff, but it's not the Craig Robertson I knew. It just feels to me like he was just leaning into an online persona and just shooting his mouth off. Yeah, that sounds exactly like what it was. He said Robertson was about 5 feet, 4 inches tall and weighed 300 pounds. He could barely get around without a cane and had difficulty standing up on his own. But yet they thought this guy was a credible threat to assassinate the president. He could be cantankerous from time to time. He could tell an off-color joke from time to time, but there was absolutely nothing about him that would make you think he was mentally unstable or that he was a danger. He said, and I have to stress this, physically, he was just incapable of enacting any of the threats that I saw. So, but apparently he did have a gun on him when they threw a bunch of flashbangs into his house and then shot him dead. It just seems really, really fucking unnecessary. And like if I was the Utah governor, I'd be throwing a shit fit that FBI agents came in and just gunned down an old man for talking shit online. I don't disagree that they probably should have went and checked on him and seen if he was actual threat, but I'm pretty sure that whole episode was unnecessary. Um, Next one, we're gonna move over to Henderson, Tennessee. There's another FBI involved shooting. Um, So, FBI kills disabled veteran in pre-dawn raid. Family demands answers. It was a senseless act. This was in Henderson, Tennessee. Family of a disabled veteran that FBI agents killed during a pre-dawn raid. Another one, pre-dawn, is demanding answers, saying law enforcement hasn't justified the raid or explained why Theodore Teddy Deschler was shot. FBI SWAT team descended on Henderson, Tennessee home belonging to Deschler's mother on August 16th. About, excuse me. About 15 minutes later, the 45-year-old veteran was shot dead. WBBJ reported, that's a local affiliate. Excuse me, local news station there. It was a senseless act. Deschler's brother, Russell Deschler, told WBBJ Teddy was a 100% disabled veteran. He had problems. He had severe PTSD and he had depression, but he was getting help for it. But this was senseless. Deschler's mother, Bonnie Deschler, said she answered the door when she heard agents pounding. They pulled her from the home and put her in the back of a police vehicle, she told WBBJ. When she asked the agents why they were there, they responded, "It's none of your business," she said, which seems to be a little bit of a problem since it was, from what I understand, it was her house. The house was hit with flashbang, explosives, tear gas, and bullets, the family told WBBJ. The windows were shattered and SWAT trucks destroyed the yard. The outlet reported after visiting the scene. Russell said he believes his brother was unarmed and the agents were shooting into the house through the garage window, which could mean Deschler's position in the kitchen was obscured. He didn't have a weapon on him. He was just trying to get out of the house because it was filled with tear gas. Couldn't see the height of the door and where Teddy was standing when they shot him and killed him. You couldn't see if he was armed or not, and you know he wasn't. He added, because if you look at the door and see where his hands were full of blood and went down the door, well, if he had a weapon. Neighbor Alex Morris witnessed the incident after he was startled awake by the commotion outside. I heard a loud bang, then I heard a couple more. I heard the loudspeakers, "Come out with your hands up. We're the FBI. We're not going anywhere." Before I knew it, I was coming out to see what was going on and watched them bust out their windows. I reckon they got him in there. So that's number 2. So 45-year-old, another military veteran. The old dude was a Air Force vet. This guy's an Army vet. Sound like he had PTSD. Yeah, severe PTSD. I don't know if that was military related. I'm assuming so. And I think he had, so earlier this year, Deschler was arrested as a suspect following a gas station stabbing in a nearby town, according to the Selmer Police Department. Details of the attack and any subsequent charges remain unclear. So he might have been violent. It appears like maybe. But the thing that's really unclear is why the FBI would be involved in that. FBI is federal law enforcement, It's in the name, Federal Bureau of Investigation. Which really has, in their title has nothing to do with enforcement, just investigation. The family has demanded details surrounding the arrest warrant against Deschler and the circumstances of his death. They said it's an ongoing investigation, but they won't say anything to us. So these poor folks had their house blown up, essentially, tear gassed, got their lawn torn to shit and their son killed by federal agents, and they're not real for sure what for. Doesn't seem to be a lot that doesn't add up there. A lot of questions as to why this guy was deemed a threat and why you needed an FBI SWAT team to raid his house at 6 o'clock in the morning, and then why do these FBI SWAT raids always seem to escalate to them killing the dude that they're after? Um, let's see. There was another, and this one was a little harder to find. But so I just started searching FBI shootings, and so there's a lot of information you can find pretty readily about mass shootings, but the as far as here we trying to find the one where there was a here we go. No, that's not it either. Damn it, where did that one go to? Here we go. All right, so this was in Albuquerque. Um, and the FBI has not released anything about this, but this is from the guy's family. Relatives ID Albuquerque man killed by FBI while authorities remain silent. Family members have identified the person who was shot and killed by FBI agents last week. This was back in August, so August 15th, August 8th. So attorney Ahmad Assed, who was assisting the family, said an FBI task force killed 32-year-old Ahmad Nassar on August 8th inside his family's home near Mountain and Shelwood Park. Said agents knocked and asked for Nassar before detaining his mother and brother. Said authorities took over, and in an hour or two later, the brother and mother told the brother and mother Nassar had been killed. According to an FBI search warrant, said shared with the Journal, FBI agents removed a BB gun from the home after the shooting. Said that FBI asked the family to leave for a few days, and when they returned, the house was a mess. We're not entirely sure about the facts, but I can tell you from a community-based perspective, there's an outrage in the community about how that went down. Said Nassar had been shot at least 4 times. Meanwhile, federal authorities have declined multiple requests to identify Nassar, I think it's probably Nassar, as the man killed, or give any details about the incident. So that's handy. As a matter of policy, the U.S. Attorney's Office can neither confirm nor deny the existence of any investigation. We therefore respectfully decline to respond to your inquiry. Tessa DuBarry, a spokesman for the U.S. Attorney's Office, responded in an email last week. On Tuesday, DuBarry again declined to comment or answer questions. Said Nassar, a father, was known by the FBI and local authorities to have mental health issues, which were documented in recent years. A lot of people just felt really sorry for him because he was harmless in the community's eyes, he said. He just suffered from a lot of mental health disease, and he was a superb young man when he was on his medication and didn't come off. Federal courts show Nassar was charged in 2018 with stealing $20 from a gas station clerk by implying that he had a gun. Within hours of the robbery, authorities said Nassar had been discharged from a psychiatric unit and was running in traffic yelling, fuck the USA and jihad. So I could see how that would make some people a little scared, but from what what it seems like the guy was not much of a threat. He stole $20 by acting like he had a gun, and the only weapon they it appears they removed from, because of the search warrant, was a BB gun, um, which apparently was not adequate defense from federal agents storming your house. So, um, Nasser's defense attorney in the case argued in a motion that the arrest broke the cyclical pattern he was living for the past several years. The attorney referenced several incidents since 2015, including one during which FBI agents brought Nassar to the hospital after he was found waving an ISIS flag and making incoherent statements in a public park. His psychotic symptoms arise. He would self-medicate with street drugs, have a psychotic episode that results in him being brought to the psychiatric emergency room, get clean, show improvement, and get released, according to the motion. So he's in jail for a little 15 months, I guess. He was in jail. So this one's a little a little more complicated, I guess, but it's complicated in the fact that we don't know what the hell's going on there. But all of those shootings happened within a week. And in the meantime, we've had several people that were I don't want, like, so this guy from the Proud Boys, leader of the Proud Boys, Enrique Tarrio, was not even in DC on January 6th. He was obviously involved with people that were on the ground, but he just got sentenced to 22 years in prison for seditious conspiracy. The dude from the the Oath Keepers got 17, I believe. There was another guy that got 18 years. And because of this whole January 6th thing, the DOJ, FBI have really ramped up their their I don't know what their efforts to take down so-called domestic violent extremists is what they're calling them now. They're stopping short of calling them terrorists, but we've got 100% disabled vet gets killed. We've got an old man who probably is literally disabled. If his friend was telling the truth, and he really was, he was like an Oliver Anthony song character. He was 5'4" and 300 pounds, sniper rifle. I'm gonna wave around, and like, what the fuck, man. I was also reading a case. So this is from the Intercept, and it's from, this article was from a while back, I think. So this is from back in March. Pop it up on the screen here, but on the other end of the political spectrum, so this is by Trevor Aronson, and I guess there's a podcast series on this too, but there's very real and confirmed evidence that this chick right here, with the pink hair, was undercover Colorado Springs police chick, working with the FBI to infiltrate and not just infiltrate, but they tried to essentially coerce a bunch of these BLM activists to buy guns illegally and become violent. And this was all done in coordination with Denver and Colorado Springs police and the FBI. And and this was all happening during the 2020 BLM riots. So under the Trump administration, this sounds more like something maybe the Trump administration would do, which considering they're on the opposite end of you know the BLM stuff was it was started as a protest against police brutality, and then it became just well sustained riots, and it kind of became just like it became all about Trump in the end of things, and there so this kind of, I mean, this sounds like something that maybe would come with Donald Trump's okay, that would be something maybe he'd be all right with. um but the fact that you like the FBI has a long track record of essentially coercing, whether it be young Muslim men that they then radicalize and convince them to try and blow up a plane or something, and then they swoop in and they arrest him like, yeah, we're saving you from the terrorists. And it seems to be kind of what they were trying to do with those activists in Denver. And I've been on the record many times saying like that BLM shit got way out of hand, and it needed to be something needed to be done, but it wasn't. And but how many of those? Well, I think pretty well all of those protests started out very peaceful, and then they were escalated into just mob rule. And how many informants and agents were involved in escalating that? And it seems to be in the case of Colorado Springs and Denver. um well, there wasn't just federal agents involved, but it was local police in conjunction with the feds. And it's it seems to be not a good thing. If you remember back to the summer of 2020, that wasn't a great thing. Just was that Portland had like 100 days in a row where they just rioted. The Portland mayor like went to stand in solidarity, and then they came and rioted at his house and like threw Molotov cocktails. I don't know if they threw Molotov cocktails at his house, but they yeah, they didn't give two shits that he was standing in solidarity. And they caused so much damage. They got a there was uh, quite a few people that got killed during that whole thing. And that just gets glossed over for some reason. I did see that I don't know if it was in response, but kind of oh, where is that? Here we go. No, that's not it either. Oh, so before we move on, so this one here was like just happened on the 6th of September, but along the same lines, Liberty Safe let FBI seize a customer's gun safe contents without a court order. Um, so this is a post from the Hodge twins. They're comedian, political pundits, conservative kind of influencer types. It says last week a friend of ours was raided by the feds over J6. His name is Nathan Hughes, and he's from Fayetteville, Arkansas. Nate was raided by the FBI, arrested at gunpoint. His girlfriend, who had just had a miscarriage, was held at gunpoint and put in handcuffs. FBI turned off his security cameras, unplugged his internet, and flipped his house upside down in the search. The feds called the manufacturer of his Liberty gun safe and got the passcode to get in it too, all for protesting at the Capitol over 2.5 years ago. So I'm not sure what all is going on in this video, but
Why they out there like that?
yeah. So again, heavily armed FBI agents. And so he was arrested. Nathan Hughes, the 34-year-old owner of the compromised Liberty gun safe, was arrested at gunpoint and charged last week with 1 felony and 3 misdemeanors related to his presence at the U.S. Capitol building on January 6, 2021. During the raid on his home, the FBI ransacked his house and attempted to confiscate the firearms from his safe. Liberty Safes confirmed on Tuesday that gave the disgraced federal law enforcement agency a combination to break into Hughes' gun safe simply because the FBI produced a warrant to search Hughes' home. So their statement reads on August 30th, 2023, Liberty Safe was contacted by the FBI requesting the access code to the safe of an individual for whom they had a warrant to search their property. Our company protocol is to provide access codes to law enforcement if a warrant grants them access to a property. After receiving the request, we received proof of the valid warrant, and only then did we provide them with an access code. Liberty Safe had no knowledge of any of the details surrounding the investigation at the time. Liberty Safe is devoted to protecting the personal property and Second Amendment rights of our customers and has repeatedly denied requests for access codes without a warrant in the past. We do not give out combinations without proper legal documentation being provided by the authorities. We regularly update our policies to ensure both compliance with federal and state law and reasonable consumer privacy protections within the law. First and foremost, Liberty Safe is committed to preserving our customers' rights, and we will remain unwavering in those values. The search warrant was a general search warrant for the house. Liberty Safe was under no obligation to give them anything, and the fact that they had like a master code that you could that anybody who works at that company could unlock it, like. When you buy the safe, the assumption is like that's mine, and it's called a safe. You know, like you put stuff in there to keep them safe, important stuff, guns, documents, valuables, and the idea is they stay safe in there, and that's yours. Like, and you have the code, and that's it. But now they can. If somebody shows Liberty Safe a search warrant, whether it's listing that safe in particular or not, they just like, oh, sure, here you go, guys. Here's the code. And I'd venture to bet that the guy who bought that safe didn't know that there was like a backdoor way of getting in there. So there's obviously been quite a little bit of backlash against Liberty Safe. So it says safe companies like Liberty are not necessarily required to comply with law enforcement requests for combos to break into one of their purchased products unless a court orders them to do so. Liberty, however, claimed it is their company protocol to give law enforcement entry and access to products as long as those agencies possess a warrant. The manufacturer's confession that its product security is compromised due to the existence of a master code and its willingness to work with law enforcement, even without a court order, did not go over with several loyal Liberty customers who threatened on social media to cancel their orders and switch to safe companies. Others criticized Liberty for its double standards on safe security. If a customer loses his safe keys or forgets his safe combination, Liberty requires him to hire a certified locksmith to regain entry. Huh. So they won't give you the code to your own safe if you forget it or loses the keys. But the FBI, they can open it, no problem. No problem. Huh. Wow. Huh. Well, Liberty tried to reassure its customers that it's still devoted to protecting the personal property and Second Amendment rights of our customers. Um, the company, however, did not immediately reply to the Federalists' questions about whether its plans to beef up its code sharing policy in an effort to follow through on its pledge to preserve customers' rights. Not all gun safe companies readily hand over access to their customers' products, even if law enforcement demands it. A spokesman at Fort Knox, a national gun safe and vault company, told the Federalists his company would only divulge safe combinations to law enforcement if a court specifically ordered it or a search warrant specifically named his company. He reiterated flatly that his company would never do what Liberty did without a court order. And then Browning Safes, Champion Safe Company, and American Security did not immediately respond. So, yeah, I guess they're probably going to lose a lot of money. And I don't know. I don't know what their customer base as a whole looks like, but I imagine it's a lot of guys kind of like me and my buddies and like you folks listening. I would not imagining that a BLM activist or a trans activist is going to be just I doubt they have a whole lot of Liberty gun safes in that type of community, but boy, the people that I would imagine that would be most likely to buy a Liberty safe, they're probably not very happy right now, and with good reason. If you remember that couple that shot up, I think it was like their place of work there in San Bernardino here a while back, as a Muslim couple, and the FBI kind of went to war with Apple over it because Apple would not provide them like a backdoor entry into the cell phones, and I think that's appropriate. We've allowed law enforcement to way too easily get a hold of all of our stuff here lately. Like there's been case after case after case after case of whether it's local, federal, state law enforcement with pretty egregious violations of the Fourth Amendment, and they just kind of get ignored. And it seems like maybe people are starting to wake up to it. It's interesting to see on the right wing side of the spectrum, people who are typically very gung ho pro police, and they're it's starting to fade a little bit. People are, I think they're starting to get a little jaded by abuse of power by law enforcement. I think that's a good thing. People are waking up to it, but what's going to be done about it, I don't know. But you had 3 FBI involved shootings in in within a week last month, and not a whole, like, the only one we really know a lot about is and we still don't know a ton about it, is the old man who was talking shit to Biden on the internet, who was clearly not a threat. The other two, like, I don't know what that was about. Like the dude in Albuquerque, Are they looking at him as a domestic terrorist? Wouldn't seem so, because they already knew about him. They've had contact with him before, and then they find a BB gun, and that's it. The guy in Tennessee, who knows? We don't know. They're not saying shit, and you're just like, so you're just shooting you're shooting people in their homes in early morning hours, and then just clamming up, not talking. No real good explanation. Even on the one, like I said, that we know about, like, was that necessary? Was it really necessary to send an FBI SWAT team after a fat old man? There couldn't have been a better way to handle that. Like, there was, and why they didn't, I don't know. But we'll end this show here on a real good note, just real upper here. This is from, let's see what. This is from the Daily Star. Super gonorrhea cases are rising and could be fatal, the WHO warns. Sexually transmitted infections often occur while having unprotected sex. There are many types of STIs, including chlamydia and genital herpes, which all come with different symptoms. Some diseases can go unnoticed, as the NHS advises Brits to get a checkup if they're concerned. Now ahead of World Sexual Health Day on September 4th. Did you guys celebrate that? Let's see. I think I had sex with my wife on that day. We did not use protection, so yeah, I'd say I celebrated that. The World Health Organization warned of cases of drug-resistant gonorrhea are on the rise. WHO also considers Neisseria gonorrhea, also known as super gonorrhea, a priority microorganism to be monitored for antimicrobial resistance. New guidance on STIs require countries to work towards improving access for better testing and diagnostic services. Dr. Theodora Wee, the lead for STIs at the WHO, warned leaving sexually transmitted infections could be deadly. She said, when untreated, certain STIs can lead to long-term irreversible outcomes, and some can be potentially fatal. They know that because they found out a lot of stuff about I think, was it gonorrhea or chlamydia that they gave a bunch of black people to in the Tuskegee experiments, and then they told them that they were treating them for it, but they never did, so they could observe how the disease progressed as it went on. So they probably gleaned a lot of information from that. The organization warned countries including the UK, Europe, and Asia have reported cases of the Neisseria gonorrhea. So super gonorrhea is going to take over the world. Well, I guess use a condom, or I don't know. WHO said the enhanced gonorrhea AMR surveillance suggests high rates of resistance in gonorrhea to current treatment options such as ceftriaxone, cefixime, and azithromycin in Cambodia, for instance. Around 82 million new cases of gonorrhea are being reported around the world every year in people ages 15 to 19. The extremely drug-resistant gonorrhea with high-level resistance to the current recommended treatment for gonorrhea would also including resistance to penicillin, sulfonamides, tetracycline, fluoroquinolines, and macrolides are called Gonorrhea Superbugs or Super Gonorrhea. So it's a really nasty strain that also is looks to be at least somewhat resistant to antibiotics. So that's neat. Um, huh. Symptoms of gonorrhea: pain during urination, pelvic or abdominal pain, rectal itching, bleeding or discharge, pain during bowel movements, eye pain or discharge, sore throat, swollen glands in the neck, stiff and painful joints. Well, I don't have any eye pain. I don't have a sore throat or swollen glands, but I've had some pretty painful bowel movements from time to time. Um, but I think I'm okay. I don't think I got the super gonorrhea. And hopefully you don't either. Um, I'd be a real bad thing for you. I'd feel bad. But just wrap it up, and you'll be probably, unless it like melts through the rubber. I don't know. I'm not sure how super this super gonorrhea is. Is it, is there a kryptonite to it where kryptonite's just like a big fat ugly chick? Um, that's mean, but kind of funny. I don't know. Seems a little weird. Uh, cool stuff, huh? Super gonorrhea. Oh, by the way, I think they are gonna. It sounds like they are gonna re-indict Hunter Biden. Yeah. Prosecutors are seeking a new indictment for Hunter Biden by the end of September. Looks like it's gonna be based around the gun charge. Yeah, defense attorney said Hunter Biden has kept to the terms of an agreement sparing him from prosecution on felony gun charges. Huh. So we'll see if anything comes out of that. And it seems like the House Republicans are maybe halfway serious about impeaching Biden. I don't know. This news of a possible new indictment comes as House Republicans are preparing for a likely impeachment inquiry of President Biden over unsubstantiated claims that he played a role in his son's foreign business affairs during his time. Unsubstantiated. I seems like there's been a lot of evidence to suggest that those claims are not unsubstantiated at all. In fact, like they're probably seems to be like there's a lot of smoke and probably some flames there when it comes to that. So will anything happen? Probably not. I wouldn't hold out too much hope for it, but maybe they'll impeach him. If they do, it's not going to go anywhere in the Senate, so it'd be entertaining, I suppose. Probably, I don't know. We'll see. I'll have to compare notes with the Trump impeachment and see. But we'll keep you updated on that, and maybe we'll have to do some live watch-alongs if they're when these impeachment trials go on, if they do. So, weird world, crazy week, but hey, football is back, and that's good. The weather's cooling down. We got some good rain, and they made it out of Burning Man. Most of them. There was one kid that died from probable drug overdose. Shocker, I know. But the dry lake bed, oddly enough, got real muddy when it rained because it's a low spot. It was a old lake bed, and yeah, so a bunch of the burners got trapped there at Black Rock City for an extra weekend, and it was national news, but They made it out. I seen a whole line of them coming down the highway the other day. So good for them, I guess. Yeah, crazy world we're living in, but we'll keep living in it. So you'll have a good week, and if you're around Kiowa, Colorado, or no, Elbert, Kiowa County Fairgrounds. So be in Elbert for the big time buck and horse futurity. That's I'm not sure exactly the cooperation with War Party Ranch and War Party Movement, but they're help putting it on. So I'll be out there. That's Saturday night, the 9th. So if you're in the area, come by, watch some cool buck and horses, and come hang out. So y'all take care out there and move your ass. We're burning daylight.
Good guys and bad guys, cowboys and Indians, sinners and saints, masters and minions. They're all the same to me. They're all the same to me. Winners and losers, the weak and the strong ones, the young and the old, the right and the wrong ones. They're all the same to me. They're all the same to me. And you call it trick magic, might have fooled everybody, but you didn't pull nothing on me. Choose your battles, oh, bite your tongue, 'cause you know your words have wings. Bar your windows and lock your doors when the puppets start cutting their strings. And watch your step when you find yourself in the company of kings. Good luck and bad luck, hard times and easy street, fortune and failure, dirt roads and concrete.